Hello. Today our lesson is going to be about dividing and multiplying fractions. When timesing and dividing fractions, the denominator does not have to be the same. However, when you're adding and subtracting fractions, the denominator does have to be the same. Addition and subtraction of fractions is available in a different lesson. So, first example. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 3 over 4 times 2/5, and timesing fractions, basically we times the two numerators together and the two denominators together. Numerator is just the top of a fraction, so this one here is your numerator, and your denominator is the number on the bottom, denominator. Okay, so numerator is the top, denominator is the bottom. Okay, so basically when you times fractions, you times the two numerators together and the two denominators together. When you divide, there is a trick, and we flip the second fraction and multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. Okay, so let's go through this quick example here. Okay, so 3/5 divided by 7/8. So what we've got to do is we keep the first fraction the way it is, and then we change that and flip the second fraction. Okay, so 3/5, it becomes 3/5 times by 8 over 7, and then a times fraction, we numerator times numerator, 3 times 8, and then denominator times denominator. Okay, so I'll just finish off that question. Okay, so then this answer here becomes 3 times 8 is 24, 5 times 7 is 35. Okay, so page 2, and this is a couple more examples. So basically when we times fractions, we times top by top and bottom by bottom. So 2 times 1 is 2, and 5 times 5 is 25. Top times top, bottom times bottom. When we divide fractions, we keep the first fraction, we flip the second fraction, and then we change the divide to a times. Okay, so therefore 7 over 9 divided by 3 over 8 becomes 7 over 9 times 8 over 3. So 7 times 8, which is everyone's favourite multiplication, becomes 56, and 9 times 3, bottom times bottom, becomes 27. Okay, so, and I think that simplifies. Oh no, it doesn't, no. Okay, so question 3. What we've got here is when given mixed numbers, and an example of a mixed number is 5 and 2/7, for instance. So basically when you're given a mixed number, what we've got to do is to change the mixed number into an improper fraction, otherwise known as a vulgar fraction, etc. Okay, so what we do to change a mixed number, which has got whole and fraction, into an improper fraction, is we times the big number at the front by the denominator and then add on the numerator. So 5 times 7 is 35, 35 plus 2 is 37, and it will be 37 over 7. And of course the fraction, a lot of pupils don't like the fractions, etc., but if you just think of the fraction as a divide, okay, where instead of dots you've just got numbers. That's the way that I think about fractions anyway. So what we've got is 3.5 in the question 3 divided by 4/5. So first of all we've got to change 3.5 into an improper fraction. So 3.5, what we do is we times the big number at the front by the denominator. 3 times 2 is 6, add on the 1 which is the 7, and then you just put it over the denominator which is 2. So 3.5 becomes 7 over 2. Now in order to divide fractions, we keep the first fraction which is 7 over 2 and we flip the second fraction, and then we change the divide to a times. So 7 over 2 times 5 over 4, and then a times fraction is the nice one. We just times the two numerators. 7 times 5 is 35 and 2 times 4 which is 8. Okay, so your turn, and I'll put this up on the main screen so that you can see the questions. So if you could have a pause at the questions, pause the video so that you can have a go at the questions. And good luck, and I'll be back to go through the working out with each question. Okay, so hopefully you've managed to have a good go at the 4 questions, and let's have a go at going through them. So the first one was 3/10 times 8/9, and it's a times and there's no mixed numbers, so it's a pretty pleasant one, I would imagine. Numerator times numerator, 3 times 8 is 24. Denominator times denominator, 10 times 9 is 90. So that's your answer. Next one, question 2. What we've got is 6 over 7 divided by 5 over 9. So this one here is a divide, so we keep the first fraction the way it is, and then we flip the second fraction. So 5/9 become 9/5, as you can see there, and we change the divide to a times. So it becomes 6 over 7 times 9 over 5. So 6 times 9, and that is not 30. So 6 9s are 54, and 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, so 54 over 35. Question 3. So what we've got now is 9 over 12 times 7 over 10. So again, it's just two fractions times by each other. So it's just top times top and bottom times bottom. So 9 times 7 is 63, 12 times 10 is 120. Now if you can simplify, then you have to simplify to get full marks. Okay, so for instance, you would never leave a question like 4 over 8. We all know that 4 over 8 can be simplified by dividing top by 4 and bottom by 4. Okay, so 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 4/8 would be equal to 1/2. And the same goes here. The biggest number that can go into 63 and 120 is 3. So you've got to divide top by 3 and bottom by 3 to get 21 over 40. Okay, so last question of these, and what we've got is 5.5, and we'll notice that that is a mixed number, so we're going to have to change that to an improper fraction. So by changing it into an improper fraction, what we do is we say 5 times 2 is 10, add on the numerator which is 11, 11 over 2, and that's where this 11 over 2 comes from here. Okay, so then we've got 11 over 2 divided by 3/5. Now I just like doing one thing in each step so that it eliminates stupid mistakes really. So therefore we've got 11 over 2 divided by 3/5. And a divide, we know that we're going to have to flip the second fraction and change the divide to a times. So it now becomes 11 over 2 times 5 over 3, which equals numerator times numerator, which is 55, and denominator times denominator, which is 6. So your answer is 55 over 6. Really well done if you managed to get all of those correct. And that is our quick lesson on multiplication and division of fractions. If you have any maths questions, then please click on the link in the description and we are happy to help. Thanks for listening.